You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's Sylving me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Sylving. As you can see, the title screen looks a bit different. I really like it. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright, shoes or not, I need to get out of here before he gets back. I wrap my shoes in my sweater and hug the bundle to my chest before standing up, but standing proves to be quite the challenge. Putting the weight on my heels feels off, but I'll have to get used to it as I go. I take a step, flailing an arm around like I'm walking on a tightrope. To get any sort of balance, I widen my gait and take slow, small, deliberate steps toward the door. Opening it, I face a much greater obstacle. Stairs. I'm not even out of this room and I've already hit a snag. The individual steps aren't long enough, making my toes go over the edge. The only way to get any real footing is to turn my foot sideways. I steady myself against the walls and carefully take them one at a time. Don't slip, don't slip, don't slip, don't slip. It's not fast, but it's the safest way down. I let out the breath I'd been holding halfway down as my feet finally meet stable ground again. After I look up the stairs I bested, I turn around to find myself in an old-timey kitchen. It's pleasant and quaint. The sunlight streaming in through the window is enough to brighten up the whole room. I find myself taking it all in. Cupboards, dining table, bench, and a wood-burning oven. Everything is very well maintained, and the scene feels quite cozy. They even have a black pot sitting on the kitchen table. I can smell the spice rack from across the room, but my nose struggles to identify the different scents. If anything, there are too many of them. Better not try to focus on the smells right now and see what other things are here. There's a hanger above the stove with a number of dried goods like meat, yellow flowers, and I think that's garlic? They're shaped like garlic, but the color is off and the skin has an unusual sheen to it, even in the low light. At first glance, I thought I recognized everything, but in fact, I haven't seen most of these ingredients before, like the short blue mushrooms. There's also what looks like a bunch of red grapes with fuzzy skin, like what peaches have, and I think the green curly things are beans. I shake my head, snapping out of it. This isn't the time to get distracted. I make my way to what must be the front door and pull it open. Oh wow, nice, great artwork, damn. Oh boy. Not sure what I was expecting. I could barely manage a talking werewolf. I'm not sure how to handle an entire town full of animal people. Maybe I should have taken a peek out the window first. I sidle back to the living room and take a glance outside. Animals of all shapes and sizes, squirrels, moose, lizards, all walking upright and dressed in medieval clothing. I'm starting to have second thoughts about running out the door. I don't exactly blend in with what I'm wearing. One step out there and I'll stick out like a whale in the jungle. At best, they'll think I'm a weirdo. At worst, they'll hunt me down and burn me as a witch. But if I stay here, the big wolf will come back and ask more questions. Well, he did act nice to me. He's clearly fishing for something, and I'm not sure what he'll do once he has it. Getting out of here is my best bet. The sooner the better. If I'm lucky, they might ignore me and think I'm just some weird, harmless guy. At least I hope so. Holding my bundle tightly in my arms, I ready myself for the first steps out there. Alright. Well, here goes nothing. I step out into the streets, looking around in amazement at the strange place I found myself in. Small children race between the legs of their parents. A small mouse and kitten run past me with sticks in hand. A number of food stalls sit across the street. Their owners shout over each other in a contest to drum up the most attention for their wares. Freshly baked bread, right out of the oven. Come get them while they're hot. Only 2 kroner. Schizos, jello-y, mambaras. You won't find fruits and vegetables better than these in all of Nafort. It's certainly an aggressive sales tactic. Do they yell like this all day? Though, with the number of people they're drawing in, I can't argue with the results. I take a moment to get my bearings. The werewolf pointed somewhere in this direction, straight down the street. I try to appear as inconspicuous as possible, doing my best to stay out of everyone's way. However, the uneven road, when paired with my new feet, makes walking naturally impossible. Still, I can't help but take in the hustle and bustle of this town. I see some people are dressed in nice, clean clothing, while others look worn and ragged. I pass by 3 ladies standing next to one of the stalls, and their chatter emerges from the white noise of the crowd. One of them is saying something like, "My husband's always been the working horse on the farm, but now he's the size of the farm." At that, and all 3 erupt in a piercing cackle. I guess a lot of the men in this world are just gigantic. If it wasn't for all the animalistic features, they'd all easily pass for human, even down to the body language and how they gossip. Keeping my gaze forward to avoid eye contact, I do my best to avoid bumping into anyone, which is proving difficult because something behind me is throwing off my balance left and right. Taking a look back, I see the tail swishing like crazy. "Can't you stay still for just a minute?" I whispered to it as if it could hear me, but that just made it thrash about even more. I give up on calming it and start trudging again. My balance really could do without this tail. Reaching a crossroad, I can see the woods in the distance, down a path leading out of the village. Exiting the market, I pass a few residential-looking houses before emerging from the town. There's a nice mill house churning merrily above a stream, with a bridge beside it. I cannot help my way back lies beyond. I just wish I had my phone now. No one back home is going to believe I came to a place like this. Oh, hello there. Oh, wow. Poor guy. I hurry to the bridge, almost home free, when my footing fails me and I fall into someone green. His skin is ice cold to the touch when I push myself off of him. Seeing that he's carrying a shell behind him, he must be a turtle. He's just a few inches shorter than me. My eyes shoot down to his left arm, or lack thereof. The sleeve is tied into a knot. Looking back at his face, he's scowling at me. The furrows on his brow is obvious as the scars his left eye. Sorry! I stare at the ground, giving a weak apology. I hurry up and jog across the bridge, just to get away from this awkward moment. It took longer than I'd have liked, but eventually the village is out of sight and I'm finally alone again. I let out a long breath, loosening the grip on the bundle in my arms. I don't know how many of them took note of me, but I don't really care at this point. I got out of there and I'm never going back. I look down to my feet as I walk forward. The tail has mostly calmed down, making the walk much easier for me. Soon enough, I met with familiar scenery. The field of yellow grain, the stone wall, the rotten fence. It's all here. This is where I last saw that fox guy. Who I know now wasn't just some guy in a costume. I was chasing after a real, walking, talking, clothes-wearing fox. If I had known this, I wouldn't have chased him. For all I know, he could have bitten me when he had the chance. I guess I should be glad he didn't attack me back then. I've been through this way twice now, so I recognize the trees. This is around the spot I lost sight of him, so it must be close. Most of these trees are the same as I'd seen back home, but that one twisting in on itself with the purple leaves is something I've never seen before. Getting farther into the woods, I catch sight of a small stone trail leading off the road. This has to be the way back to the cave. After a minute of maneuvering around brush and other overgrowth on the trail, I arrive back at the opening of the cave. The entrance is built like a shrine with inscribed stone columns. It was clearly abandoned long ago, judging by the shambles it's in. A tree has partially destroyed the top of the entryway, prying apart the stonework and crumbling what's left of the pillars. I can understand why the big wolf said people don't go here. The entrance on my side is much less ominous compared to this one. I feel a bit scared to walk through it, but it's the only way back home that I know of. As I make my way through the tunnel, I realize how much more spacious this side of it is compared to my end. I can easily walk upright, which I didn't really notice when I was sprinting through it the first time. The air is still heavy and cold, so at least that hasn't changed. The tunnel opens out, and I feel a wave of relief as I see the big red tree. I've never been happier to see my old tree than I am now, though it's strange coming in from the side of the cave. I make a beeline through the clearing, passing the tree toward where the tunnel home should be, completely forgetting my satchel. But the tunnel isn't there. Where? How? I drop my sweater and shoes, pressing my hands against where the exit should be. Moving them about, there's just a solid wall. Was there a cave-in? I look around for any signs of collapse, but the wall looks like there never was a tunnel to begin with. I give a testing knock, hoping maybe the stone is hollow, but it's solid. Another wave of panic starts to wash over me. I pound my fists against the stone, but nothing changes. Nothing budges. Let me out of here! I don't understand what's going on, but I can't just stop here. I keep pounding at the wall, shouting even louder. Let me out! But nothing changes. The wall stands firm. All that's changed is that my hand is in pain from punching solid rock. I grab a heavy stone from the ground and hurl it at the wall with everything I've got. Hwah! My yell echoes through the cave as does the heavy clonk of the rock hitting the wall. Nothing. There's nothing but an impassable rock wall. I'm so confused, and am I even in the right cave? I can obviously see that everything is how it's supposed to be. The tree, the lake, the vines hanging down are all where they should be. Everything is as it should be. This is my cave, except the tunnel switched. Why? How? If everything else is the same, why would the old tunnel just disappear? My head is spinning. I'm too overwhelmed to make any sense of it all. Feeling lightheaded, I move back to the tree and sit against its trunk. I pull my knees to my chest, my body heavy with defeat. I stare off into the water, fighting off the waves of emotion that I've been building up. The only thing I can think of is that if the tunnel switch places once, maybe they can switch again. Maybe if I just wait, it's bound to go back to how it used to be. Nothing's changed. It's been hours now, but the new tunnel is still there and the old one still isn't. I adjust my sitting again, my butt's starting to feel sore. I just have to wait here until it turns back to the way it was. It's going to. It has to. Looking up through the big hole above me, I see the sky dim with the warm pink and yellow hues of late afternoon. I start to consider what I should do if the old tunnel doesn't come back soon. Should I keep waiting? I'm scared that if I leave, I'll miss my chance. My stomach's rumbling, and if I had planned on staying this long, I would have packed snacks, or grabbed a bite to eat before leaving the house. There were those blue mushrooms in the wolf's kitchen. If they're edible, I might be able to find some in the woods. And the water in here is crystal clear, so I can drink it, probably. It's not exactly an ideal plan, but it's not like I've got many other options right now. Thinking hard about what to do, I spend my time exploring this body. I reach up to my head and feel my big, rounded ears. They're really very soft. It's kind of nice to rub them, even a little comforting. Looking at my own hand again, I see the pads on my fingertips and palm. Everything else is covered in fur. I still can't believe my body changed like this. Footsteps. Oh, shit. I look over to see a massive brown figure emerging from the tunnel. I feel my blood go cold as I recognize him. The footsteps slow and soften as he approaches. I cover my head with my arms, hoping that he'll magically just go away. Aaron? Damn it! Listen, I'm here to help you, I really am. But to do that, I need you to tell me what you know. I don't want to see him. I just want this dream to end. I don't want you to be afraid of me. I really do want to help. Regardless of your answers, I won't hurt you. You have my word. His tone of voice is softer and slower than last time. It's serious, but in a more composed and caring sort of way. I slowly look up to see him standing next to me under the tree. He looms over me, tall enough to grip one of the lower branches in the tree. Still, he doesn't seem tense. If it's too much for you to speak, you can nod or shake your head. Do you understand? I clench my jaw, swallowing hard as if that's some sort of response. Are you a Sylving, or perhaps an Udir? Sylving? Udir? I give him a worried look. I've no idea what he's talking about. It's alright, you don't have to answer. Can you at least tell me if you're from here? I hold my breath and force myself to shake my head. Did you try to go back to where you came from? I nod. Through this cave? I stare at where my tunnel should be, longing for it to at last reappear, but it's still just a wall. I look back up at the wolf and nod. Did you see a fox here? Did you chase him? The fox. How does he know about the fox? Again, I feel like the wolf knows much more than he's letting on. Still, I did end up chasing him after him when he stole my phone. And right now seems like the worst time to avoid this question. So I give him a nod. Aaron, you're not really a lion, are you? My blood goes cold. He knows. He knows that I'm not like him. Like any of them. I hold my knees to my chest, preparing myself for what he'll do next. But he just stands there looking at me. I see. For now, I need you to come back with me to the village. Can you stand? Back to the village. I spent all afternoon trying to leave, and I'm not keen on returning there, but my tunnel is still missing. Do I even have a choice? He says he wants to help, and while I don't really have a reason to trust him, I don't have a reason to doubt him either. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. I uncurl, using the tree for balance as I hoist myself back onto my feet. My legs are a little numb from sitting for so long, but I keep myself upright. You must take your belongings with you. Right, almost forgot again. I grab my satchel and stuff my shoes into it. I pull my sweater on and follow the wolf out of the cave. Oh my. Some cake right there, boys. After walking in silence for some distance, I look up at the wolf. He's a couple steps ahead of me, but he's maintaining a slow pace to match mine. When I see him glance back at me, my eyes snap straight down and focus entirely on the road. I can't believe I'm going back with him. I feel the silence between us growing heavier and more awkward. After a while, I look back at him. I can see he's carrying a sword strapped to his back. It's enormous, yet on him it honestly looks a little small. Pommel and hilt look sturdy enough, but the sheath looks battered and plain. Looking lower, I find myself watching his big brown tail. It sways in a smooth rhythm, in sync with his stride, swinging left and right. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silver, and thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5 already. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!